Goa. Beaches. Relaxation. Good vibes. Right. Well, not exactly lately. Things have been getting kind of heated over there. Protests, outrage, you name it. And it all seems to come down to one guy and some pretty strong words about a figure, well, let's just say he's considered pretty important in Goa.
Yeah, this is a big deal.
So we're diving into this whole controversy. We want to understand what's really going on and why it matters. So to set the scene, we're talking about Goa, a state in India known for its beautiful beaches and laid-back vibe. But recently it's been in the news for a different reason, religious tension and protests.
Right.
And at the center of it all is Subhash Velingkar. He's the former head of the RSS in Goa.
Which, for our listeners who might not know, stands for Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. It's a Hindu nationalist organization, very influential in India.
Right, a powerful group. So Velingkar, he made some pretty provocative statements about St. Francis Xavier, a 16th century saint who's deeply revered, especially in Goa.
Yeah, you could say that again.
And it's not just what he said, but who he said it about that makes this whole thing so explosive.
To put it mildly.
So let's get into it. What exactly did Velingkar say that has everyone so riled up?
Well, he publicly questioned the legitimacy of St. Francis Xavier.
Which is a bold move.
Yeah. He even went as far as to call for DNA testing on the saint's relics.
To understand why this is such a big deal, you have to understand the significance of St. Francis Xavier in Goa.
It's like questioning George Washington in the U.S.
Exactly. He's not just a historical figure. He's woven into the fabric of Goan identity, culture, faith.
For centuries, he's been a symbol of Goa's unique history and its diverse population.
And it's important to note, this isn't just some off-the-cuff remark from Velingkar. This is part of a pattern.
A pattern?
Oh, yeah. He has a history of making these kinds of inflammatory statements, specifically targeting Goa's Christian community.
Really? Like what?
Well, just back in 2022, he claimed St. Francis Xavier was actually involved in atrocities during the Inquisition. He went so far as to say the saint shouldn't be considered Goa's patron saint anymore.
Wow. Okay, so this isn't an isolated incident. Not at all. And that raises some serious concerns.
Like what? What's the end game here? Why make these kinds of statements?
Well, it's hard to say for sure, but one possibility is that this is about more than just religion.
What do you mean?
Well, think about it. This kind of rhetoric, whether it's calculated or not, can be a very effective way to stir up division and fear, which, sadly, can be powerful tools for political gain.
So you're saying this could be a way to manipulate people for political purposes?
It's definitely something to consider.
Scary thought. And it's not just happening in Goa, is it?
Unfortunately, no. India as a whole has been seeing an increase in religious tensions in recent years.
And Goa, despite its history of different cultures and religions coexisting relatively peacefully, it's not immune to these broader trends.
Right, and this situation is like a warning sign showing how quickly things can escalate when religious sentiments are involved.
And escalate they did. We're talking protests in the streets of Margao and Variegator, roadblocks, burning tires.
Even reports of a photographer getting roughed up in the middle of it all.
It's been intense. And it's not just Christians who are outraged.
Exactly.
People from all walks of life are making it clear that this kind of divisive rhetoric goes against everything Goa stands for.
They're saying this isn't the Goa they know.
Right. So what are people demanding? What do they want to see happen?
Well, they want Velingkar held accountable for his words. They're calling for his arrest and for him to face legal action for hate speech.
That's pretty serious.
It is. But it goes even deeper than that. People are demanding that the authorities step up and actively protect Goa's tradition of religious harmony. They want reassurance that this fundamental part of Goan identity won't be eroded.
So it's about more than just one man's words. It's about protecting a way of life.
Exactly. It's about safeguarding the values that make Goa unique and ensuring that everyone feels safe and respected, regardless of their faith.
It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. Do you think the authorities will take action against Velingkar? Or will this just blow over?
That's the million-dollar question. And honestly, it's hard to say for sure. There's a lot at stake here, and the situation is still very fluid.
All right, well, we'll definitely be keeping an eye on it. But for now, let's shift gears a bit and talk about the political fallout from all of this. Because this has gotten the attention of some pretty big players in Indian politics. What's been the reaction?
Oh, it's been, shall we say, divided.
Yeah.
Divided is a good way to put it.
So let's start with Goa's Chief Minister, Pramod Sawant. He leads the ruling BJP party there.
Right.
What's been his take on this whole thing?
Well, he's calling for calm, urging everyone to let the legal process play out.
So standard politician response.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But he also made an interesting comparison.
Oh.
He brought up a case where a priest faced consequences for making provocative comments.
Really? So he's drawing a parallel there, suggesting that Velingkar should face similar consequences.
Exactly.
But he didn't actually name the priest,
Mm.
which has raised some eyebrows. People are wondering if there's a double standard here.
It's a valid point. And then you have the opposition parties, like the AAP and Congress.
What are they saying?
They are not mincing words, let me tell you. They've condemned both Velingkar and the BJP in very strong terms.
And what about Rahul Gandhi? I heard he weighed in on this.
Oh, yeah, he did. He accused the BJP of using a classic divide-and-rule tactic.
So basically they're saying the BJP is stirring up trouble for their own benefit.
That's the gist of it.
It's getting messy.
It is. And it'll be interesting to see how the BJP responds to these accusations.
Definitely. Now, in the midst of all this political back and forth, there's another player we need to talk about, the church. What's been their response?
It's been interesting, to say the least. They've condemned Velinkar's statements, of course, but they've also called for peace and restraint, urging people not to resort to violence or hatred.
So they're trying to walk a fine line here.
Exactly. They're condemning the act, but also calling for calm and understanding.
Which makes sense.
It does. But it raises the question, how effective will that approach be in the long run?
Right. Can you really calm the waters once they've been stirred up like this?
It's a tough question, and there's no easy answer. But let's talk about some of the concrete actions that have been taken against Velingkar, because it's not just words anymore.
Okay, so what's actually been done?
Well, for starters, an FIR has been filed against him.
An FIR?
Yeah, it stands for First Information Report. Basically, it's a formal complaint to the police alleging that a crime has been committed.
So they're accusing him of breaking the law.
Exactly. The FIR specifically accuses him of outraging religious feelings and insulting religious beliefs.
And that's a serious offense in India.
It can be. And as part of the investigation, the police are actively searching for Velingkar.
Wow, so things are heating up.
They are. In fact, Velingkar even tried to get something called anticipatory bail.
Anticipatory bail, what's that?
It's basically a way to avoid going to jail while the police are still investigating.
Like a get-out-of-jail-free card.
Sort of. It's more like a safety net for people who believe they might be wrongly accused.
Interesting. So did he get it?
He did not. The court denied his plea, which suggests they're taking the charges against him seriously.
Wow, this is getting intense.
It is. And it brings up a whole other issue.
What's that?
While Velingkar is facing legal action, some of the protesters are too.
Wait, really? What for?
For blocking roads during the demonstrations.
That's ironic. They're protesting hate speech and end up facing consequences themselves.
It highlights the complexities of free speech, the right to protest and maintaining order.
No easy answers there.
Nope. And it gets even more complicated.
How so?
Well, some people believe this whole controversy is a deliberate distraction.
A distraction from what?
From other pressing issues facing Goa right now, like the environment.
You're kidding.
I'm not. There are major concerns about development projects, pollution, the impact of tourism.
So you're saying this whole Velingkar thing is overshadowing those issues?
That's the theory.
Wow, if that's true, it's pretty cynical.
It is, and it raises a whole other set of questions about who benefits from this distraction and what their motives are.
It's like a tangled web.
Absolutely.
And speaking of tangled webs, let's bring it back to the church for a moment. They condemned Velinkar's words, but also called for peace. How do you think that will play out?
Yeah, it's like they're trying to be the voice of reason in all of this.
Makes sense. But is it enough? I mean, can you really just call for peace and expect things to magically go back to the way they were?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And honestly, I don't think there's an easy answer. But I will say this situation really shines a light on a much bigger issue that goes way beyond Goa.
What do you mean?
Well, we're seeing this kind of tension, this clash of values happening all over the world, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's like this fundamental question. How do you protect tolerance and diversity when those very ideas are under attack?
It's like the ground is shifting beneath our feet, and it's hard to know what to hold on to.
Exactly. And that's what makes the situation in Goa so significant.
So where do we go from here? What happens next?
Well, on a practical level, we need to see what happens with the legal cases against both Velingkar and the protesters.
Right. Will justice be served, and will it actually solve anything?
That's the hope, but it's not guaranteed.
And we can't forget about the human cost of all of this, too. There are real people on both sides of this issue who are hurting, angry, and scared.
Absolutely. Their voices need to be heard, and their experiences need to be acknowledged.
And then there's the long-term impact on Goa itself. Will this just blow over, or will it leave a lasting scar?
It's hard to say for sure, but it has the potential to really change the social fabric of the state.
And let's not forget about tourism. Goa's economy relies heavily on it, and tourism thrives on a reputation for peace and hospitality.
Exactly. If visitors start to see Goa as a place of conflict and division, that could have a huge impact.
It's a ripple effect.
It really is.
This whole situation is a powerful reminder that words have consequences.
They do, and the choices we make both individually and as a society can have far-reaching impacts.
So to our listener, we urge you to think critically about the information you're encountering.
Don't just take things at face value.
Seek out diverse perspectives. Consider the motivations of those involved. And don't be afraid to ask tough questions.
And most importantly, stay engaged.
This deep dive has been about so much more than just one man's comments. It's about the challenges of maintaining harmony in a diverse world and the importance of standing up for what you believe in.
It's about recognizing that silence in the face of intolerance is not an option.
If we want to create a world where everyone feels safe and respected, then we need to be willing to have these difficult conversations and to actively work towards understanding and empathy.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
This has been a heavy one, but incredibly important. So thank you for joining us on this deep dive. And remember, stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.